We are going to get started shortly, just another minute or so, just waiting for a few more people to join us. So if y'all will just hang out with us for another minute, we will go ahead and get started. And while y'all are waiting, we have a few of our resources here on the screen for you. So if you haven't already followed us on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, we have all of those resources available for you that will have all of our literature and videos, and of course, YouTube as well. If you want to follow us on YouTube, you can watch all of our tech talks, all of our webinars, and all of the additional information that we have on there that we've been working on for the past couple of years now, trying to get y'all some resources and some educational documents and videos that can help y'all in your everyday life. And also, before we get started, if y'all have any questions or anything that we come across during the chat, you can go ahead and put those in the Q&A box at the bottom, and we will get those answered at the end of the Tech Talk today. All right, and with that said, we'll go ahead and get started today. So we are here with the tech team to talk about Microsoft Teams, of course, and how your business can benefit from it and use it and simplify your workflow. So the topics that we are going to cover today regarding Teams is going to be the benefits, favorite features that we here at Turnkey use every day, and of course, a few little tips and some training. So with us today, I have a couple of our tech team here, and then of course we always have Henry, but we have Nick today joining us, who is the newest member of our team and has been in IT about 5 years now. And then we have Cody, who has been with IT about 16 years and has been with Turnkey for the longest as far as our technicians go. And then, as always, we have Henry. So I will go ahead and let Henry get started today and go over some of these benefits and features with y'all.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie. And for everybody that's joining us, we really appreciate you taking time out of your day to kind of dig into this. We are going to roll up our sleeves and really get down to it today. And we're going to go fast. I apologize for this because Microsoft Teams is just this massive Pandora's box of every day there's some new trick, some new feature, some new thing, and we're constantly learning new stuff ourselves. So today is kind of a point in time. We took a survey amongst our clients and our internal team, and we said, okay, tell us some of the big stuff that you just love and can't live without in Teams. And so that's what we're going to cover today. And we're going to do it kind of sort of fast, unfortunately. We're going to dig in a little bit more on some of these specific features down the road. But the biggest of which is collaboration live inside of the company. We're going to dig in a little bit more on how we use Teams actively at Turnkey to collaborate outside of our company and how that's really kind of changing the face of communications and team projects and vendor communications. We're going to dig in a little bit into what a lot of people think is kind of the most boring common feature of Teams and how we use it to really kind of change how small teams and big teams can work together effectively, stay out of everybody else's hair, get their job done really fast, and converse and communicate and kind of collaborate in very effective pods. We're also going to look at how OneDrive and Teams and SharePoint and all that are working together to make file sharing just kind of a dramatically different thing and simplify your ability to find, share, edit, and work together on documents because they're how they're putting it all together. And we'll dig a little bit on kind of the idea of how integrated in with Office and Windows and that whole ecosystem and with the rest of the world and third-party applications Teams has become. It is really becoming very connected with all of the applications that the bigger vendors are putting out there. And last, we'll dig in a little bit into how we are using it as a video resource and how we're storing videos and really effectively using them in our team to share and communicate, because not everybody learns or communicates really well by typing. And so it's really expanding its ability to do that. So I'm very excited, really, by the way, to have Nick and Cody on the presentation. And I really appreciate Stephanie putting this all together. But Nick and Cody are a great representation of what the field, the front line, the kind of the troops are feeling and using. So that's why I asked them to come along with this presentation to kind of dig in how they're experiencing this and how they're experiencing team and how they feel and see our customers experiencing and some of the benefits there. So, not all of this will be from Henry's perspective, which I think will be a real benefit to you. So without further ado, let's kind of dig into that first one. The idea of collaborating inside your organization, tell us about it, Nick.
Yeah, collaborating inside your organization is really important. Mainly, it's a good way to communicate. We can communicate with video and have everybody come together in that same meeting, and we can see each other. We can, do nonverbal body language and shake our head yes or no, and it's really productive because I had a lot of military experience, and I always found that the failure always happened at lack of communication or bad communication. And this really cleans up clear communication. It lets us talk. It lets us use whiteboard, and you can put Post-it notes and just draw on it if you like. I mean, smiley faces, say good job to somebody. It's really important. We can all communicate clearly and function as a team. And this really helps it. It's a lot different than having a military formation and everybody gets the plan of the day and then they go off and do their own thing, because later on that day you can use Teams to send a little chat over to Cody and say, hi, I need help with something, or I can say hi to Henry and ask how his day's doing. So those are some of the things I kind of like about just being able to communicate with everybody clearly and have a good functioning system to do that.
You bet. I think it's worth noting that we start every day at Turnkey with a video Teams meeting. So that, in the world of COVID, we've learned that it's still really effective to get around the water cooler and pat each other on the back, ask what's going on, ask what's going right, what's going wrong, and collaborate quickly at the beginning of the day. And we do that every day there. So that's awesome. Thank you, Nick. Now, kind of extending the conversation, Cody, you had some thoughts about how we take it outside.
Oh, absolutely. With everything that we could do inside the organization, it, as Dave was saying, it makes everything so much easier to just talk and do what we need to do. But you could extend that to your outside as well. I use it all of the time to, like if I have to communicate to my project team inside here, as well as talk to one of our firewall vendors, I could actually set up a chat with a couple teammates in here and dial out to our vendor and give him an option to join into Teams via phone or the app or the web app or however he likes, or he or she or whomever I'm talking to. You don't have to have a native Teams app installed on your computer in order to communicate. They just need to be able to basically pick up the phone and talk to you. It's a very, very efficient way of getting a kind of a pseudo conference call going that you don't have to wait on a lot of people to accept and send and get invites mixed up and confused with timelines. You could bring in really anybody that you want from the outside as long as they have a phone number.
You bet. Now, I think it's worth noting that, two funny things about this conversation we're having right here. We're doing it over Zoom, right?
Yeah.
And that's because, this conversation is happening and it's been established via kind of a whole marketing software program that we use to communicate with customers about these tech talks, and that's integrated in with Zoom. And we may one day change that to Teams. There's always pros and cons to a lot of tools. But one of the other things, it's kind of the big elephant in the room to think through, is that Teams has not always been a product. And when it first launched, those external communications, I think at Turnkey, we found really frustrating with people outside of the company, and our customers felt the same way. Is that inside your domain or inside your company, it was easy to communicate, but in the earlier days, it was a real challenge to bring in people from outside and to give them permissions to join your conversation. Have you found that a little simpler? You mentioned that you talk with even some of our outside, like our software and hardware firewall vendors and whatnot. Has that gotten easier for you, Nick, Cody?
Very much so. Because the whole aspect of having a dedicated app, like for instance, you don't send somebody a link to go to a website and then they click on that. They have to download an app, and then they have to go through about 4 or 5 different hoops before they're talking to you. Nobody wants to do that. The whole goal of this is to save time, save money, establish clear, concise information. And as far as I've been using it, I've had no issues with it. I've started off calls internally here to let's just kind of gather our thoughts together and kind of talk together and collaborate on like a project or a kind of a hot button issue that we're working on. And then once we have all the information and everybody's on the same page, we could add somebody into that conversation or add one of our clients to that conversation and then relay what we found over to them and come up with a solution right then and there.
Cool. All right. So thinking through the idea of getting all of our stuff together internally, tell us, tell your experience of how we're using groups and chats and whatnot internally.
We have quite a bit of internal group chats in here. Not everybody likes group chats. Everybody's been on your cell phone, you get a group chat and everybody likes to shy away from those. This is a lot more organized. As you see on the slides here, you start off with a general category that's everybody that's in your organization. You could tag everybody in it and everybody will see it, or you could get a little bit more granular with it and say you have a Baton Rouge office with 5 or 6 people in it, and you could send everybody in that office a message instead of blasting your entire organization. Yeah. You could do the same thing with as we have with our say our back office team. We have within our Baton Rouge office, we have a separate team inside of that. You could add 3 or 4 people to that without blasting the entire office inside of that organization. Yeah. And so it could get as very specific as you want, or as broad as you want. And it's very nice because with those people that are in those groups, all you do is click on them. You could type to them, and if you need to have some form of internal meeting, you click on that group, and then there's a single button. You click it, it will call everybody in that group instead of having to send out an invite and through email and wait for people to accept it. And again, hoping that invites and somewhere in the Microsoft ecosphere, it doesn't get messed up somewhere. Yeah. And they accept it. They're looking at you if they want to join with video, if they want to join with audio, if they want to join with both or chat, either way. It's all there.
Yep. And we use this nonstop. I think it's important to note that we almost don't email inside Turnkey anymore. No. We use Teams so much and just the chat function. And you can throw up a quick team around a specific project or a specific problem you're having in a project. So if we have an issue with a specific solution at a customer's office, I can put together a team in just seconds with all the subject matter experts around that subject, that product, and that customer, and we can kind of quickly drive to a solution. So, one of the other things that I love about Teams is it's changed the way I collaborate file-wise with the team. Like a lot of times, I'll put together a project or a quote or a project plan, and I need to get the engineers looking at it. Or get somebody else thinking through, okay, well, we need to dial in a nuance there. And where Teams has changed that for me is instead of emailing them a file, instead of emailing three or four people a file, and everybody sending back 3 or 4 different versions of it edited, and then I got to collaborate and kind of figure out, well, so and so said this, they said this, whatever. Teams uses the back-end SharePoint and OneDrive storage systems to allow real-time group editing and of a document. It's really good about permissions, so you can specify who gets access to this file, or if you put it in the right folder in the right spot in Teams, it inherits the permissions of that group. And just to kind of give a visual of it, what I wanted to show here is just a quick little demo. I've got a Word document up on the screen that I shared with everybody earlier this morning, and I'm going to take my hands off the keyboard and let y'all see the different colored cursors are the different people. Up at the corner of the screen, we see, Nick is on, Cody is working on a section, and Stephanie is working on a section, and they're collaboratively editing a Word document, which this is stuff like Star Trek. When you're talking about like 20 years ago, people used to think this was just never going to be possible, and we're here now, and it works beautifully. Word, Excel, PowerPoint, a lot of those products all share the same basic underpinnings, and it works beautifully for all those systems. So that's something that's kind of changed our communications internally. And then kind of wrapping it up, because it has the ability to do video. Nick, tell us, I know specifically in your team, Brandon's constantly recording new process videos and whatnot. How are y'all using it in operations and this new feature that Teams has rolled out?
So the way I like to look at this is if anybody's ever told you to YouTube it and then go on YouTube and you got to find the video of whatever subject matter you're looking for, you can record these things yourselves and have your own training sitting there, and your references right there. So it's your own personal YouTube, if you want to say. It's your own video storage of training, and it really can make things a lot quicker, a lot easier to have new people trained up, or just to refresh somebody on whatever it is that they're looking for.
You bet. Now we record a ton of stuff in Teams meetings. Any meeting can be recorded. You can have it set to auto record, or you can record manually once you start a meeting. And then once it's up and recorded, let me see if I can switch really quickly to a stream here online. And now there's a bunch of different ways you can access it. I pulled this meeting specifically up from the web page, but once it's, and I'll just kind of,
not here as of yet, go ahead and check out the video on getting signed in to Office 365.
So just as an idea, that's Jerry, one of our other team members, doing a recording and a video on how to use multi-factor authentication. And we've just recorded a ton of stuff. So in your organization, if you have to give a speech to one employee every time they start up, how about recording it once, putting it here, and then when the new people start, they watch that. Or if you're rolling out a new tool, or you're rolling out a new product, or a new process, or a procedure, or you want to share a company-wide video and not everybody's available right now, you can have that meeting, record it, and then share it for playback. And it is mind-numbingly simple. It is 1 or 2 clicks to record it and then share it back out with everybody. So yeah, it's a real game changer in terms of simplifying communications. Kind of digging further into it, Microsoft Teams is being integrated in with everything Microsoft. Windows 11, which is coming down the pipe very soon, is reported to be heavily integrated into it, to where we almost can't really tell where the lines between the operating system and the application start and stop. But all of Microsoft stuff is integrated now, and all of the things that we use inside of Microsoft, Word, Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint, are all being tied into it. But Nick, you wanted to talk a little bit more about how we're using some third-party stuff with Teams.
Yeah, the one big third-party app we use is the Avocado, which allows us to actually send text to a client or whoever's cell phone, and they can read it as a text, and then they can respond, and it comes back to us through Teams in text format, as you can see. But it also comes in handy for things when they're not around the phone, they have that phone, and they can take pictures and send it to you. And since we work so much in Teams, having that just as another function with all the other things, it's another window I don't have to have open. It's all integrated right there. And it's just another great communication tool to use with other people.
Yep. Now, I'm going to actually text back to the service team and say, here's what my computer is doing. Here's a picture of, let me see. I'm going to send a picture of that and send it up. And this is Avocado. This is me chatting. It's a little circular. It sounds kind of a little interesting, but this is me chatting with myself. Now, any one of the service technicians could be chatting back with, the me that is on the other end of the cell phone. But all of the text messages that our customers can send in to this system, and it's through a third-party product called Avocado that we use. But all the text messages that our customers send in are immediately integrated in with Teams, and we can drag that into a service ticket if need be, or we can communicate 24/7 on a text message with our clients and get a quick idea of how things are working with a customer and collaborate with them via the text messaging system. So let me see if that picture came through. Look at that. So you got my text message, and this is like a game changer when somebody is saying, hey, my computer's not working. The last thing we want to tell them is send me an email, right? It's a little frustrating. So yeah, the idea that we can integrate in with third-party apps on Teams is it's a real game changer. And we use 3 or 4 different things right now. Avocado is just one of the coolest ones that most of our customers can really feel and experience just today. Thank you, Nick. Let's dig into kind of the idea of how to get started. Cody, if somebody if they have Teams, how hard is it to get rolling?
If you have Office 365, you go to your portal, which is usually, teams.microsoft.com, as you see there, or portal.microsoft.com. There's a few different ways to get there. But as soon as you log in, there is a little window at the top left. You click on that and then click on the Teams icon, and you're there.
So if they already have an Office 365 email address or email integration, is this ready to go for most of the time?
Ready to go.
All right. Sounds pretty simple. And if they don't have the application for Teams to run on the if all they have is access to the web, is the Teams app still downloadable through that web portal?
It is. You could choose to download it. It's the app itself has quite a bit more features than the web app, just like everything else does, but you can download it from the portal. Very cool. Or if you just want a quick, simple chat or a quick, simple join a meeting, go ahead and open up the app on the web-based, and you can get there.
All right. Okay. Well, look, if your team does not have, if your staff, your company doesn't have Teams, or if you haven't rolled it out to them just yet, we're ready for you. We're able to help at any point along the way. And we're ready to help you kind of get started with that. We do these kind of things to kind of wet your whistle, give you a little teaser and some ideas around what we can do with it and how we can help your company really kind of change how you operate for the better using new technology. But if you want to dig in deeper and say, hey, look, how could we use X in a specific part of our company, or, we're paying for this messaging app, or we're doing this other thing, and you're saying we could use Teams at no extra cost. Can you tell me more? We're ready for you. So let us know. Email us at ask@tcas.la if you want, some myself or any of the team to hop on and kind of walk through that consult, or give us a call. Talk to any of your technicians that you communicate with, because again, we live and breathe this stuff. We all are using this. A couple other things that if you want, you can email us at the end of this and we'll send it back to you, is there's some really cool demonstrations online from Microsoft that have great tips and tricks and some things that you can make use of. Share those inside your resource, or share those resources amongst your team for how to use it and what's new. They're kind of pushing that kind of stuff. These two URLs are really good videos and places to go. And kind of backing up just real quick, if you want to look and see if you have Teams and you can get to it, what I would recommend is look for this icon somewhere on your program stack, your start menu. Look for that, or go, if you want to start with the web version, go to teams.microsoft.com. That's kind of the two places that you can get the real legitimate version of it. Or if you need help and your existing customer, just put in a service ticket, and we're on it. But you do have to have some version of Office 365 or Microsoft 365. Almost all of those versions have Teams licensed up and ready to go with you. And to kind of extend the conversation just a tiny bit further, for more training resources, for all of our clients, we have this portal up there. There is a wealth of resources around all of the Microsoft applications, all of the tools that we recommend. And for example, this video will be up there within a day or two. So if you want additional customized training specific to how Turnkey recommends we implement tools, and other specific product trainings, they're available at portal.tkscloud.com. If you need help accessing that, call our service team. We'll get you right in, or you can email and ask the ask@tcas.la team, and we'll hop on and help you as well. So with that, we're going to kind of wrap up. If there's any questions, if you have a question and you want to throw it in the chat, or if you think of something in a few minutes, or tomorrow, or whenever you're watching this replay, by all means, please email us at ask@tcas.la, or call us 225-751-4444. And always, by all means, please check out our website, because we've got a ton of stuff on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, on the website itself, some really good blog articles. And we're constantly trying to push out up-to-date information and training, as well as alerts or kind of updates to where the world is going as it relates to technology and IT and your business. So if there's no other questions online that are popping in, we're just going to give a little notice to what we're talking about in the upcoming webinars and Tech Talks. One of the things that we're going to dig in, as promised, is a little bit more detail on how we use OneDrive, which is, again, the lines are kind of blurring between what's OneDrive and what's Teams and what's all the Microsoft stuff. But we're going to dig into how we use OneDrive and some of the very cool features that are, we believe, kind of transformative to our clients. And then shortly after that, we're going to be scheduling and posting the registration links for the Tech Talk, where we're going to dig into how we can help you solve the craziness that is the 3,000 passwords that you're expected to remember, and a very simple solution for how we at Turnkey are keeping up with that and keeping them secure and keeping them from being a problem for us and our clients. So we look forward to having you on those. If there's ever a time that you want to have a talk of suggestion, like if you have a subject that you'd like us to dig into, by all means, please email us at ask@tcas.la, and you can always go there and ask for a replay or information for how to get access to some of our previous Tech Talks and webinars. And with that, we would say thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for the opportunity to be of service. Nick, Cody, Stephanie, thank you all so very much for joining us today on the webinar. I know people get tired of hearing from me, and it's so cool to have y'all give your feedback and insights. So thank you all very much for joining us, and for the rest of the team that couldn't be with us here, but make it all happen, make the magic happen.
You're welcome.
All right. Okie dokie. Well, that concludes our conversation for today. We really appreciate y'all joining us. We appreciate the opportunity to be of service, and we will talk to you soon. Have a great day.